In this vlog, we are going to deal with the implementation of unmodifiable list. So, what is an unmodifiable list and how do we deal with this particular list implementation in Flutter? We'll be trying to cover in this part of the tutorial. So, I suggest you to watch this tutorial till the end. And if you have not watched our previous tutorial on mutable and immutable list implementation, the link for the tutorial I am providing in the description section below and also here in the iCard. And I suggest you to go through that particular tutorial if you are not aware of what is a mutable and immutable way of dealing with the variables or list. So let's get started with this particular tutorial and try to have quick recap on what is a mutable and immutable here. So mutable in the sense, in our previous tutorial I have clearly explained with an example there, and here when you consider a mutable list, then you can have options like you can add the data, you can delete, and also you can update the existing information. And whereas if you make use of an immutable list here, you cannot update the data, and the only option you can have is reading of the data. So both in mutable and immutable you will be having reading, like read operation is available, but in mutable additionally you will be having add, delete, and update as well. So these are the basic CRUD operations which you can perform in mutable list view here. And I hope you now got a good clarity like what is a mutable and immutable way of dealing with the list. And in this part of the tutorial we are going to deal with a unmodifiable list implementation. And what does this unmodifiable list implementation do, and why it is necessary for our Flutter applications? So a quick scenario I'll be trying to provide you, and after going through this particular example I'm sure you will be understanding like why we need an unmodifiable list view. So here in mutable way of implementation you can perform all these operations and the data inside the list can be modified, whereas if you use an immutable list view then the data cannot be modified by the third party, even you cannot modify it. Okay, so what is the solution here is like an unmodifiable list view. So unmodifiable list view will take a copy of a mutable list view and try to provide to the user. So in this way, whenever the user is dealing with an unmodifiable list view, he cannot perform any operations like updating the data. He can only view the data, whereas you on the backend, you can update the list, and this particular updated list will be provided again to the user in an unmodifiable way. So how this will happen, let us try to see through an example over here. And before going further, I would like to suggest you, if you like this particular tutorial, do share, like, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content on Flutter. So now here we are now going through this particular code which we have dealt in our previous tutorial, and the code for this tutorial I will be providing in the description section below. And very quickly here you can see we have got a list. You can just let me know in the comment section below what was your guess. I'll be revealing like what this list type is like. It's an immutable list view. Why immutable list view? Because we have specified constant here. So if you remove constant, then this will be of a type mutable list view and you can update the data. And for more information you can just watch our previous tutorial, there I have clearly explained you. And now let's try to create our unmodifiable list view here. So list of type string here, and again you can consider any data type here or you can create your model class. Everything works fine. Okay, so here I'll be providing unmodifiable as a list name here. So here let us try to declare unmodifiable list view. So here you can see when I start typing view here I have got the very first suggestion like list.unmodifiable, and I'm going to select this, and to provide elements I will directly pass this particular existing list here, and that's it. Our unmodifiable list is now available. And before testing this particular unmodifiable list view, let us try to test this particular list, and here I am going to make it a mutable one because we need a mutable list view, because we are anyway using an unmodifiable list view, so mutable list view works fine here perfectly. And I'm opening up my simulator, and quickly I'll try to run this particular code and we'll see the output. And also I suggest you to watch the output of our previous tutorials as well. There you can clearly distinguish between what an immutable and mutable, and the same we are going to see here, like what is mutable and unmodifiable. So here we are not going to differentiate because we are trying to make use of the mutable list view into our unmodifiable list view, such that the user will get this particular unmodifiable list view. He will access only this particular list instead of this original list, we can say here in this scenario. So here our build is been completed, and yes, it's been now installed. And here you can see we can now display the list here, and we can add an element, remove an element, and we can again display the list. And yes, we have got this. So now let's try to test our unmodifiable list view. So I'm quickly trying to rename this to unmodifiable, and again this to unmodifiable, and even this one unmodifiable. Okay, and now let's try to run this code. And when I tap on display, yes, this works fine. And when I try to add an element, then here we got an error, and this particular error clearly says that unsupported operation. So here it's an unsupported operation, so the user cannot change the values. And the best example is like whenever you're trying to deal with a shopping cart kind of application, their user cannot change the price or any particular details of the product. So in that particular scenarios, you can make use of an unmodifiable list view, and also remaining banking applications as well. This works pretty fine. Stock market applications and whatever it might be, where you don't want the user to change the value and only to make use of the existing value. So this is the best way to make use, and I suggest you to use this particular unmodifiable list in your application for better performance. When you compare with immutable, I find unmodifiable as a perfect example for this particular purpose. So I hope you got this particular concept clarified now, and the code for this particular tutorial I'll be providing in the description section below. And if you like this tutorial, do like, share and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content on Flutter.